Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1 p.m. on this Thursday, the 11th of October. And man, we had a bit of a move like everywhere. Holy cow, the regular equity markets, folks. Unless you've been living under a rock, the moves yesterday were crazy. I haven't seen moves like that since '08, or most recently, certainly since the the election. That is pretty crazy moves, and they're going lower. Okay, so there was some attempt to recover part of this market in at least the Nasdaq. Nasdaq was trading up like 1%, but look at this. Look at this candle here. I mean, there's it's clearly an attempt to push this higher, but the Nasdaq just tanked. I mean, usually when you see some pullbacks like this, you see like near the last little bit of the day, you'll see some short covering, or you'll see some of the buyers come in, but no, that did not happen. In fact, the futures market continued to sell off into the close and into the futures market closing. So when all was said and done, like the ES was down over 3%. That's the S&P, the E-mini. That's the S&P 500 futures contract. The YM is the Dow. Both of those were down over 3%, but the NASDAQ just threw up over 5%. I mean, it was nuts. It was just absolutely nuts. I could not believe how much that just collapsed. And then when it opened up, the futures market opened up, it was trading pretty flat. There was some indications of a recovery, but no, things are just continuing to push lower. The Dow is creating new lows. I mean, these are pretty crazy moves. And the thing is that yesterday there was no safe haven, okay? There was none. There was, let's see, you had gold, like went up like $5. Didn't do a damn thing. Bonds sold, treasuries sold, oil sold off. I mean, oil had selling pressure, even though there was a hurricane hitting Florida and 40% of the refineries are down. I mean, there was nothing safe except for cryptocurrencies until overnight, and I think this was a news-driven move. This wasn't a technical-driven move. Overnight, look at Bitcoin. What happened overnight? Well, prices drove down on news that Bitfinex. Actually, there's been rumors going around about this for a while, that Bitfinex is insolvent, that there's issues with it. I've talked about it a lot, but they actually announced that they were not accepting any more fiat deposits, but they expect that to only be a short-term thing. There's some shady stuff going on there, and I don't trust it at all. But that is definitely one of the probably the biggest factor to why there was a drop. And the thing is the reason how we can tell that this was a news-based move was that if a large crypto exchange has a cloud of uncertainty surrounding it regarding solvency, multiple Reddit posts and stuff about users not being able to get their money out, and then they actually come out with a news article about the news article about the not accepting any more fiat deposits, then we have an issue there. So yeah, that's gonna be kind of a go live more often. Just give us a schedule, and I'll tell all my trader friends to watch. Instagram, I don't know what that is. There's one of the other things that the news-based trade is really based on. We have the the move down, but there's really no follow through after that initial sell. There was supportive buying, and we've just been kind of hovering in that area, and the volume has not really changed. So yeah, really not much to see here going on. We should expect to see a bounce. And here's the thing. This is the topic for today, that ZRX is on Coinbase. We've been talking about this ever since I started doing this live session with you all. And let me get this pulled up here. Where are we at? ZRX. ZRX has caught quite a big pump. It's pretty wild. So, by the way, contractors are gone. Everything is done except for this one evil outlet. So there's an electrician here. Dude, wiring is mostly an easy thing, but this evil bastard dimmer switch with these three other oh my god, it's a dragon that needs to be slain, and I've called a professional in. Anyways, ZRX is listed on Coinbase, and then and then there were 4, because now there's only 4 of the Coinbase 5. Okay, if you remember, the Coinbase 5 that we've talked about are ZRX, which is OX. Then there is 88 Cardano. There is Basic Attention Token, BAT. There is XLM, Stellar Lumens, and then there's Zcash or ZEC. Those are and then finally you have ZRX. These are the 5 cryptocurrencies that Coinbase said they were going to consider listing. This was back on July 13th, I believe. And now ZRX is the first one to get listed, which is weird to me. It's not weird, but it is weird that this is the first one that they picked to list. They also came out, if you remember, not very long ago, they posted that Coinbase listing thread. They did this back on September 25th, that they are they're making the listing of assets onto their site or their exchange a lot faster. And so ZRX shows up, and it kind of was a little hint that it showed up earlier, because people were is it real ZRX listed? ZRX Coinbase. Yeah, it's on Coinbase. They trading is not started yet, I think, for 12 hours. It's only transfer only, so you can transfer your ZRX over there. That doesn't start until later on this evening. Yeah, ZRX is on Coinbase. Yep. Let me pull it up. And hold on. Excuse me. Where's Coinbase Pro? There we are. Yep, right there. ZRX is right in here. ZRX. The only reason I knew about it is that I did, because I don't follow Coinbase's Twitter, but Coinigy has this phenomenal new aggregate news alert that pops up when anything happens, and right when it said new market detected ZRX USD on Coinbase Pro, I was like, oh my god, that was fast. That actually got posted before the tweet did. Here, yeah, there's an example of more news. So Coinbase listing for ZRX, big friggin' deal. That it is a big deal. Now there are 4 others that we have to look at, and if we've been hodling these, hodling, whatever you want to call it, this is awesome because we've known about these other 5 for months. It's just if people want to see evidence of that being a reality, this is it. And so I think you can expect to see basic attention token, which actually got a big response to it, then promptly sold off again. Basic attention token got a bid. I don't think Cardano did. No, Cardano did not respond to that news much. Neither did XLM or Zcash. No. So those are, I mean, I'm holding all of those. I've been holding all of them for quite a while. And I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with those 5 right there. The fact that they're going on Coinbase is a pretty damn big deal. And the thing is that the more that Coinbase adds, the less of an effect you're going to get from a big response, because it is very rare that things get added to Coinbase. They're big sticklers, but they're getting, they have to adapt. They have to get to a point where more can be listed, because there's Bittrex and some other, like Bittrex is turning into all US dollar pairs here pretty soon, and Coinbase needs to capture some of that retail market. They have a lot of the institutional market, but they really need to get some of that liquidity in their system again. So offering more options to trade your dollars or your euros or your pounds or the yen is what they want to do. So ZRX being listed, huge deal. All right. Taking a look at the big move that we had overnight. Again, mostly news related. Not a lot of follow through buying or selling. I really think that this is a buy the dip moment. I don't see a lot of reason why we would experience another sell. I mean, we're still within the same value area, folks. This is not any different. If we look at it from a long time frame, there is really no change in the traded area. We're at the same lows that we were at back in July of 2017. We're trading right around the same yearly lows, calendar year lows. For Ethereum I think is a phenomenal entry still. But yeah, it's I really don't see anything wrong with these levels holding. I think this was literally just a really nice dip to get in, and probably, I mean, look, if you see the volume that has come into here, this is Coinbase's data, but if you see the volume that has stepped in here, that is a good sign to see all this volume. If we look at this range that we've been in ever since when we first tested around here, this has been going on for over a month that we've been sitting down here. So no new lows have been created yet. And for Bitcoin, same thing, is we have not had any new lows. This short-term trend line was broken, but this trend line is right where prices got halted. It did not go any lower. It stopped right on this trend line. I mean, it's okay, maybe just a little bit below, but prices got halted right at that 6,000 value area. And we've seen some responsive buying ever since then. We'll see if we crawl up or creep up more, but lots of volume at play in here, and not a lot of pressure to push lower. We're still creating higher lows, if you can believe that. We have not made any structural lows since February in cryptocurrencies. We haven't. We have just been in a consolidation phase ever since late March, early April. So we have not really created any brand new lows. When people say that the cryptocurrency market is bearish, I don't I mean, maybe sentiment wise, sure, but technically, no. It stopped being bearish really back in February. Well, we got confirmation that February was the end of end of our bear move, and so all we've done now is we've just had a consolidation phase. If you remember us talking about this yesterday, a bear market, not a downtrend, but a bear market is well, in stocks and equities, it's a percentage from recent highs, but in everything else, we're really looking at, are there newer lows being created? No, there have not been any newer lows. Okay, yes, value-wise, sure, we did get $100 or a couple $100 below here, but no, we have not created any drastic lower lows. We've stayed within this value area all year long. All we've seen is lower highs and a constriction and a congestion zone here. So this has not changed the outlook. That has not changed the trading. It has not changed anything. It is still a very, very much a bullish outlook going forward. We're right into that. We're right in that bullish season. Again, every day that we're going on here, we're seeing more and more. We get closer and closer to a major breakout, okay? Because any of these moves down that we've experienced all year, I mean, you can just tell that they're getting that the length of the drop is getting shorter and shorter, and so is the frequency of the drops. They're getting more frequent, or they had been getting more frequent. You can just look at these as separate zones. If we were to just highlight them, so we had a big drive down here, then we had another down move here, move here, 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 maybe here, So they've just gotten tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And when the volume starts to pick up near the end of this kind of a phase, that's a good sign. That's exactly what you want to see. You want to observe volume increase when we're getting to the end of these moves. And you're going to have different points of data depending on the chart you look at. But you've probably seen this image before, but I was working on this a long time ago, and then somebody had posted a trading view idea on it. Damn it. Where is it at? I had it labeled. Here it is. Okay. So this is a similar. There's a gentleman who did a really nice kind of read about this. This is we've talked about this a lot before. We've gone over these patterns using Optimus software, but he has two charts here, 2014 and 2015. There's actually four major swings like this. There's one in 2011, 2013, the 14-15 gap, and then our 2017 to 2018. But right here on these charts that we're looking at is... All right, here we go. So the top chart is 2011. Or sorry, 2013. Where's 2011? Here we are. There's 2011. Then this is 2013. No, it's not. Why are these all set up funky? What's going on here? There's 2013, and now here's December of 2017 and current. Okay, these charts these charts are very, very similar. I mean, this is a pattern that shows up. First off, this pattern shows up in many markets, but in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin's chart. So thankfully, we can still use Mt. Gox's historical data on TradingView, but we see this play out all the time. This is not new. And actually, I marked this line here because why is the price stable, not increasing? Leisure, I'll actually go into that here just a second. These are fairly common. Not fairly common, they are very common. This is a really consistent pattern that we see play out. And it is a marked phase that precedes the next major expansion phase. Okay, this extends for quite some time before you see the next boom. But why I'm showing you this is that we are in the phase where the down moves end and we start to see a slow progression up. Although I really don't think we see a slow progression up from here going towards the end of the year. We should see a pretty marked drive higher. More like what we see here. This was the Mt. Gox debacle, 2013, 2014. Actually, no, it was 2014 to 2015. No, I'm right. Yeah, right back here. So this is a very, this tells us how we should expect to see the market trade going into the future here. So pretty exciting. Oh, hold on one sec. Oh, no, never mind. My wife is here. Okay. Let's see. So we've got... Oh, the guy's from Michigan, I guess. My wife's from Michigan. Okay, just listen to their conversation. So we got this move here going on, and we see it drifting and moving sideways. It's a totally normal. That's what we're experiencing. Totally normal. And I tell you what, if you're always wondering, oh my gosh, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin back in 2012 when it was $5, because in April of 2013, you're probably like, oh my God, it's $250. I wished I would have bought back there. Then you're probably like, okay, probably back in 2013, and you're wishing that you would have bought it back in early 2013 when it was trading at $5. Shit, what am I saying? You're probably wondering in 2011 why you didn't buy at 10 cents, because it went all the way up to $30. And then 2013, I just did that. And then 2017, you're like, it's up near 20K. I probably should have bought it when it was worth $2,000, but because everybody thinks it's never going to go over $2,000. This is just never going to happen. All right. This repeats itself over and over and over in every market. And because cryptocurrencies are still so young, they're still so new. This isn't even a nascent market yet. This is still a very, very, very bullish market. It's a long biased market, and anybody telling you that it should be shorted is two things. They're one of two things. They are either malicious or they are idiots. All right, you don't short a market that has been down since the beginning of the year and has formed a structural base through the whole year. Okay. I mean, there is no indication that we break down below the calendar year lows already. It just for Bitcoin, just not something that is in the cards. So the people who are encouraging shorting or saying that this market is done, that it is over, that it's saturated, how in the world is this market anywhere close to being saturated with participation? That is, like the participants are who wanted to be in it are done already. This has gone over the last 10 years. This is the same market phase we watch have happen. This is the same sentiment we see happen. It's totally normal. And then you asked, okay, why is it stable and not increasing? And because this is really just Dow Theory 101, okay? Let me do this here. Dow Theory 101 is you have the... I got to respond to this person, right? There you go. Excuse me. So, if you remember, if any of you have taken technical analysis before, studied for the CMT or any of that jazz, we always have the labels are always a little different, but you have an accumulation phase, okay? Accumulation phase is just an accumulation phase. People start picking things up in a mostly sideways market, and that's just what you observe have happen. And then there is a markup phase. This is where professionals get in. Now there is some argument whether or not professionals actually are in an accumulation phase or not, or whether professionals only come in after all the idiots have decided to ruin their trading accounts trading in a range, because accumulation zones are where traders' accounts go to die. Okay, that is where new traders are always buying at the top and selling at the bottom. It is a very, very ugly thing to do. And people say range trading is easy. Well, sure it is, if you knew you were in a range, but you don't even know you're in a range until afterwards usually. And so trading ranges, there are some traders that are phenomenal range traders. Like they can spot it, or I don't know. I like trends. I don't like range trading. So anyways, we've got our markup phase, and then we have this public participation phase, or the excess, that is all the way up here. And then actually what is happening at the peak here, this is a distribution, and then you have the bear move, distribution followed by panic. And then after panic, we have what? The phase starts over. We get into accumulation phase, and it repeats itself. All right, that is what happens. That's how we see it move. And so that is why, especially down here, ever since September, we have seen prices taper off. And again, here's the other thing: another reason for the volume decrease is that is the behavior of triangles. Now, triangles are just shapes and patterns that are like they're just a connection of trend lines. But when you get into a triangle, we could look at really any triangle on a long-term time frame or a short-term time frame. Triangles are continuation patterns, or they're breakout patterns. I guess like really anything is, and you only have three of them. There's a rising wedge or triangle, there's a falling wedge or triangle, and then there's symmetrical. And to me, this is more of a downwards trending triangle, probably more symmetrical. But one of the things that is very, very, very natural with triangles, and something that is a sign of an impending move out of it, is when volume decreases as you get to the last third of that triangle. And as you get closer to the apex, this is actually odd because you don't really ever see prices trade all the way this close to the apex of the triangle. You usually see it break out the last third of the way. There's usually a breakout. But this is a pretty common trap that you can see, is where there's it's a fake out to the upside, and then you get failure to trade below. And it's very common for this just to create momentum to trade higher, and we see a breakout up top. So this is a pretty common move that we're observing. And again, we look at really any triangle. If we can find another one. Well, there's one right here. And you can see that just the volume itself on the daily, just following the trend line that it started to, well, as we got into the last half to the last third, the average volume was trending lower until we got to a breakout. This is a totally normal moving market that we have. I mean, actually, a piece of software that I use, Optima, the founder is the dude is crazy smart. So he actually did a blog post last I don't know, January or something, but he called Bitcoin the perfect technical market because it's actually crazy how much Bitcoin follows a lot of the theory and rules of technical analysis. It's pretty shocking how it does. But where am I at? Yeah, it's a pretty neat drive that we're seeing, and this is pretty normal. I mean, we could theoretically, folks, we could really be in this zone until the end of October. I mean, that is a very, very normal looking thing to have happen. It's we could be really be stuck in an even tighter range. So yeah, it's it's if it's still following these triangle patterns, we should expect it to continue like that. And definitely, we're getting close to. This is what I'm saying. Like every day, we're getting closer and closer to that major breakout, and it is literally just a waiting game. That's all we're sitting in. And moves like this are perfect because it gives you the buying opportunities that you're looking for. It gives you this is a literal like kind of buy the dip market. So there's not a lot of risk here to the downside. There's a whole lot of reward to the upside. I've talked a little bit about where there is a bearish case for another leg down, maybe to test that 3,200 to 4,500. There is a case that could be a zone to test, but really not seeing that being one that we would have play out. And if it did, I mean, we'd be looking at a pretty fast move back up. False breakouts lower out of bullish trending conditions are generally major catalysts for spikes to the top side. In my opinion, I think we've been collecting a lot of people trying to short this market over the last, not since July, but maybe since August. We've got a lot of people trying to short the bottoms here. And I think that's just kind of dangerous. But, as far as like buying targets for today, that is going to be very, like, I don't think anything, like waves has not moved much at all, but if we look at like Nano, I think is a great opportunity. So is IOTA. EOS is good. Basic attention token, certainly basic attention token. Certainly Cardano. Well, that looks like a mess, doesn't it? Intersecting Fibonacci's all over the place. It's just I clean this up. It already looks like a toddler's placemat at IHOP. Actually, Cardano I think is a phenomenal buy because it's below its 0.8 harmonic here. It's way overdone. Ethereum. This is interesting. If it breaches this, then there's a really fast move up. What does Bitcoins look like? Similar. It's right up against this 1x5. So Gann angles are they're like trend lines. Gann said that his angles were like trend lines, but I don't think what he meant is not what we consider trend lines now. These are angles of momentum. And so these are 1x4. There's 1x4 angles and 4x1 angles. Basically, what this tells us is that in this angle here, that means that price is moving equilibrium right now for Bitcoin at this level is all the way up here. It's on the 45-degree angle. So this is considered a extremely overbought condition, and it is way divergent from where its equilibrium is, which is all the way up here as we've adjusted into this new square. This means that we have moved 4 times as fast in price as we have in time. And so that equilibrium zone is right up here. And prices don't like to stay at this angle. They like to move away from it. It's a pretty strong rejection angle. And to be honest, the move down would have to be really stupidly steep. I mean, we'd have to move down really fast to follow this angle down. I think we actually get a pretty strong rejection to the top side on a lot of these markets, on Bitcoin. But you can see throughout anything that this is a big rejection zone, even though if we do extend to it at times beyond it. But yeah. Yeah, really, it's just literally just kind of a little bit of a waiting game here. So I don't want to get into too much detail on trade entries because I don't think we have to do a lot of analysis. But certainly, once the other Coinbase 5, so again, real quick, that's OX or ZRX, which just got listed on Coinbase, Basic Attention Token, Cardano, Stellar Lumens, that's XLM, and then Zcash, ZEC. If ZRX already got listed, you can bet your ass that there will be another one of those Coinbase 5 being listed because they have already been vetted by Coinbase. All right? Be on the lookout for those being added, and this is a gift, really. That the fact that we had this big market turn down on that Bitfinex news, I mean, and really against this angle here, this momentum, it's a boon. If you don't have those already, you just got a stupidly great discount, and yeah, I was really tickled when I saw this fall down, and again, you have to be happy when prices keep falling. All right. If you get depressed, then yeah, I don't know why you would. You got to think of cryptocurrencies like buying a car or a truck that you really want. So you drive by the dealership, you see it's trading at $20,000. You're like, wow, that is expensive. And then it drops to $6,301. Yeah, I'll take a $17,000 discount. Certainly. Oh, you want to keep giving me more? I'll buy it up. So these are all just really great discounts, and you really got to change your perception of falling prices, as in cryptocurrencies, especially right now, being inside that bullish season, being all upset and poopy because prices fell down a couple $100. You're just not going to last as a trader, and you certainly won't last in this market. You have to look at those growth and value plays, and the Cardano, Stellar Lumens, Basic Attention Token, OX, and Zcash. If you want something that is almost like a for certainty to get listed on Coinbase and then will for certain catch a monstrous bid, get those. And here's the thing. I think the next one that would get listed is Basic Attention Token. Why? Because there has been such a shadowy amount of accumulation going on in basic attention token on all the exchanges. There has been a ever since these lows were hit last month, there has been a very slow creep in volume rising. And, ZRX is a good example of that. ZRX catching some pressure early on. We saw this happen in the middle of September. You saw ZRX moving up a lot. Why was it? Why? Well, probably because some people knew some other people and told some other people. Like, there's shady shit that goes on these exchanges, even Coinbase. I mean, if you remember the Bitcoin Cash debacle last year. But see, any of these Coinbase 5 that you see getting creeping, rising volume when everything else is flat or declining, that's your signal. Basic attention token, Cardano, and the others. Yes, I hope it goes down even more too. Yeah, absolutely. These are gifts. This drop today. So that's why I was so excited to get on here today to talk about this, because these are just awesome. Shaking out the weak hands, the idiots who are trying to short the market, and then the sad souls who are getting emotionally depressed and can't handle the pain anymore. They're leaving, and bless their hearts, folks, because they're giving us all the cheap stuff. So anyways, that is it for me today. I got to cut this a little short. Cardano is the game changer. Oh my God. Cardano. I'm going to retire off Cardano. Totally. Seriously. But tomorrow we'll have a lot to talk about. I know I'm ending it a little bit early today. I've just got an electrician here and stuff. So we'll have a lot to go over tomorrow. We'll definitely have a lot more trade ideas tomorrow. We didn't have many today. I'm just saying buy it today. But tomorrow we'll do a lot more. We'll do some more Ichimoku analysis and do some trade entries on where are we at? Load clouds. Love you too, Daniel. We'll go over cloud, the multi-time frame analysis on the Ichimoku system to find some entries in some of our cryptos, and yeah, it'll be a good way to start off the weekend. Otherwise, I hope you guys have had a good week. I hope you're not too depressed that there was a little bit of a drop. I won't. And yeah, take care of yourselves. And Forex Lens, folks, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 for our Forex markets, and the rest of you, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Bye bye.